All right, let's jump right in. Crypto. That's the name of the game today.
Definitely.
We're going deep, deep dive style.
Love it.
And, you sent over a ton of stuff, articles, analyses. You even jotted down some notes.
Yeah.
So obviously, even doing your homework, looks like we're focusing on Bitcoin, Ethereum,
Right.
and then some altcoins that piqued your interest, which, smart move, by the way. But the market, it's been a wild ride recently.
Oh, tell me about it.
Ups and downs, twists and turns, got to make sense of it all, right?
Absolutely. It's like trying to ride a roller coaster blindfolded sometimes.
Exactly. And there are some big things brewing, too, like that Ethereum upgrade. That could be huge for gas fees.
Oh, yeah, that's a game changer.
And then you got projects like Sand and Mana making some serious noise.
Definitely grabbing attention.
But, okay, first things first, we got to address the elephant in the room. Bitcoin. It took a tumble.
Yeah, it did. It's been all over the headlines, that recent drop.
Down to, what was it, 92,400.
92,400, that's right. And I know you had some questions about Bitcoin volatility in your notes, so let's break it down.
Yeah, let's do it.
Seemed like the main trigger was MicroStrategy. They made this massive purchase.
Oh, right.
And that kind of set off a chain reaction, a wave of selling.
Makes sense. I mean, a giant, like, MicroStrategy making moves like that, it's bound to shake things up. But isn't 92,400, isn't that considered like a key support level or something?
It is. It is. Now, you might be thinking, support level, what's that all about? Think of it like a floor.
Okay.
Historically, whenever Bitcoin's price is dipped to this level, it tends to bounce back, like a safety net.
Interesting.
So if it manages to hold above this level, it could be a good sign, a potential rebound.
Gotcha. So we got to watch that level closely.
Exactly.
Now, switching gears a bit, Ethereum, it seems to be holding up pretty well in comparison, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely stronger.
Sitting pretty at 3,355, not as much of a roller coaster ride.
Definitely less volatile.
I'm guessing that upcoming MetaMask update has something to do with that. The one where you can swap tokens without those pesky gas fees?
Oh, absolutely. That update is going to be huge for Ethereum users. Right now, those fees can really eat into your profits, especially if you're making a lot of transactions.
For sure.
But imagine being able to swap tokens without even thinking about fees. That's a game changer, especially considering how interested you are in Ethereum's potential.
Yeah, it does seem like Ethereum is really trying to make things easier, more user-friendly.
Definitely a good move.
Now, I know you also mentioned some concerns in your notes about, well, how global events can impact crypto.
Right.
You specifically mentioned Trump's tariffs and the Fed's interest rate decisions. Like, crypto can't escape the drama of global economics and politics, right?
No, absolutely. It's all interconnected. Understanding those global forces is really key to navigating the crypto market. Take Trump's tariffs, for example. They've been disrupting global trade, fueling economic uncertainty. And then you've got the Fed constantly tweaking interest rates, which directly impacts the value of the dollar.
Yeah.
And since crypto is often priced against the dollar, well, those decisions ripple through the entire market.
Makes sense. Okay, so we got global uncertainty, that's one thing. But how does that translate into, actual investment strategies? Especially with the holidays coming up.
Right.
I mean, traditionally, that's a time when trading volumes are lower, right?
Yeah.
So what should someone someone who's actively in the market, what should they be thinking about?
Well, lower trading volumes, that typically leads to increased volatility. It's like a seesaw with fewer people pushing on either side. Even a small trade can cause a bigger swing.
Oh, I see.
So heading into the holiday season, a little more caution might be wise.
So being cautious, does that mean, holding back on big investments? Or maybe diversifying your portfolio a bit more?
Exactly. Diversifying is always a good strategy, especially in a volatile market. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Yeah.
Spread your investments. Maybe consider some non-crypto options, too.
Makes sense.
So, maybe hold off on those big impulsive trades during uncertain times. Focus on the long game, understand the trends, make informed decisions.
Sound advice. Okay, let's shift gears now. Talk about those altcoins you were interested in.
Sounds good.
You mentioned a few specific ones in your notes, but overall it seems like the altcoin market, it's experiencing a bit of a pullback.
Yeah, that's right. We're seeing a general decline in prices.
Yeah.
But, as always, there are exceptions.
Oh.
Like Sand and Mana, they're defying the trend, showing some positive momentum, generating buzz.
Yeah, you mentioned you were particularly interested in those two. What is it about them that has people so excited?
Well, they're tapping into these growing trends. The metaverse,
Yeah.
NFTs. Sand, for example, it's a virtual world built on the blockchain.
Whoa.
Users can create, own, monetize their gaming experiences. Imagine owning a piece of a virtual world. and profiting as it grows.
That's wild.
And then there's Mana, the token for Decentraland, another popular metaverse platform. These projects, they're at the forefront of innovation. And their recent performance, it shows that there's a growing interest in what they offer.
It seems like the metaverse is becoming less science fiction and more, well, reality.
Definitely.
And these projects are leading the charge. But okay, so some altcoins are thriving, but others are facing some hurdles. You also mentioned Avalanche and XRP in your notes.
Right. Those are interesting cases.
Yeah, fill us in.
Avalanche is gaining traction, fast transactions, low fees, and there's been talk of a potential ETF application. Then you have XRP, the token for Ripple, still navigating some regulatory challenges.
Right.
But there's excitement there too. It's potential for cross-border payments.
So mixed bag for altcoins, some riding high, others facing roadblocks. But one thing's for sure, the altcoin space, it's never boring.
Never a dull moment.
Okay, let's dive a little deeper now, get into the technical side of things.
I love it.
You mentioned in your notes that you've been dabbling in some technical analysis yourself, so...
Always a good idea. Understanding the technicals can give you a real edge in this market. So what have you been looking at?
Well, I'm trying to wrap my head around those key support levels we talked about.
Right.
For Bitcoin, we know it's 92,400. For Ethereum, 3,355. But what happens if those levels are breached? Are we talking free fall?
Not necessarily. While a break below those levels could signal further downsides, it's not a guarantee. Remember, technical analysis is about probabilities, not certainties.
Right, it's not a crystal ball.
Exactly. But it can give you some clues, some insights into potential price movements. Now, what other concepts have you been grappling with?
Okay, honestly, funding rates. It sounds a little intimidating, if I'm being honest.
Don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Think of funding rates as a way to balance the market. They're basically fees that traders pay each other to keep their leveraged positions open.
Leveraged positions. Okay, now you're really losing me.
Okay, so leverage, it lets traders amplify their gains or losses by borrowing funds. But to maintain these leveraged positions, they got to pay these funding rates.
Okay, so it's like a balancing act.
Exactly. Now, when these funding rates are high, it could be a sign of excessive speculation, like a warning sign that things might be getting a bit overheated.
I see, a red flag.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
And when those rates return to more normal levels, it could suggest the market is cooling down.
So keeping an eye on those funding rates can give us a peek into market sentiment, those potential price swings.
Precisely. It's all about understanding the indicators.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, another term I keep hearing, Bitcoin dominance. What's that all about, and why should we care?
Good question. Bitcoin dominance, it refers to the percentage of the total crypto market capitalization that Bitcoin holds. Right now, it's around 58.40. Basically, it tells us how much influence Bitcoin has on the entire market.
Okay, so if Bitcoin dominance increases, does that mean altcoins are in trouble?
Not necessarily. While a rising Bitcoin dominance might suggest that investors are moving towards Bitcoin, seeking its perceived safety, it doesn't automatically spell doom and gloom for altcoins.
But it could mean a shift, right? A shift in the market.
Precisely. If Bitcoin dominance keeps climbing, especially towards that 59.5Z60 range, it could signal a shift in investor sentiment, maybe a move towards being more risk-averse, favoring Bitcoin's stability over the potentially wilder ride of altcoins.
So Bitcoin dominance, another thing to keep an eye on, get a feel for the overall market mood.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Fascinating. Now let's get back to those specific altcoins you had in your notes. Solana, Polkadot, Avalanche. I'm eager to hear your insights on these promising projects. What kind of outlook can we expect for them?
Well, each of them has their own unique story, their own potential. Solana, for instance, it's been making waves, fast transaction, scalability.
Yeah.
But it's facing resistance right now at that $230 level.
Right.
However, if it manages to snag those ETF approvals,
Yeah.
that could be a game changer.
ETFs, everyone's talking about them.
Absolutely. ETFs, they make it easier for institutional investors to jump into the crypto market. And that can bring in a lot of capital, potentially drive up prices. But ETFs are not a sure thing. They can be rejected or delayed.
So it's a bit of a gamble, high potential reward, but also some uncertainty.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about Polkadot. It's aiming for $7.15, but it's got that resistance at $8.20.
Yeah. What are the key things to watch there?
Well, from what I've gathered, Polkadot's success really hinges on its interoperability, its ability to connect different blockchains seamlessly and securely. If it can deliver on that promise, it could become a cornerstone of Well, the future of decentralized finance.
Interoperability, that's a big word.
It is, but it's a big idea too. Polkadot is in a good position to capitalize on this trend. If they execute their plans well, attract a strong developer community, we could see it breaking through that $8.20 resistance and soaring even higher. But of course, there are always challenges. Competition is fierce, and execution is key.
Makes sense. Now what about Avalanche? It's showing some healthy movement around 37 cents, but there's that critical resistance at $40.60.
Avalanche is another exciting one. It's been gaining traction in the DeFi space. Fast transactions, low fees, those are big draws. It's attracting developers who are building some really innovative applications on its platform. If this momentum keeps up, we can see Avalanche breaking through that $40.60 resistance and becoming a major player in the DeFi landscape.
It seems like each of these projects has its own set of strengths and challenges. But in the end, their success depends on, well, their ability to execute their vision to attract a loyal community of users and developers.
Exactly. It's a mix of innovation, adoption, and execution. Now, let's step back for a moment and talk about the bigger investment landscape. You mentioned some concerns in your notes about market sentiment and potential volatility. And it's wise to be cautious, especially with the global economic outlook being what it is and the holidays coming up.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling a bit apprehensive. What are some ways I can manage my risk during these uncertain times?
One effective strategy is diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say. Spread your investments across different asset classes, crypto and non-crypto. That way, if one asset class takes a hit, you're not completely wiped out.
So even if I'm really into crypto, don't go all in.
Exactly. Balance is key. Another strategy to consider is dollar cost averaging. That means investing a fixed amount of money at regular intervals, regardless of the market price. This helps to average out your cost basis over time, reduces the impact of those market swings.
So instead of trying to time the market perfectly, which, let's be honest, is impossible, I should focus on a consistent investment strategy.
You got it. Consistency and patience, those are your friends in the crypto market. And don't forget about taking profits along the way. It's okay to lock in some gains, reduce your risk.
That's good advice. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement and forget about the importance of managing risk.
Definitely. Emotions can really get in the way of smart investing. That's why having a plan, doing your research, and understanding your risk tolerance are so crucial.
Okay, so to recap, define my goals, do my research, manage my risk, and stay informed. Sounds like a solid plan for navigating the crypto world.
I'd say so. And remember, this is just the beginning of your crypto journey. This space is constantly evolving, so keep learning and adapting. Embrace the challenges, ask questions, and don't be afraid to challenge your assumptions. The more you learn, the more confident you'll become in your decisions.
And that confidence can make all the difference, especially in a market as volatile as crypto. It's easy to get swept up in the emotions, the fear, the greed, but if you have a solid understanding of the fundamentals, it can help you stay grounded.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to that question of Bitcoin's dominance. We talked about the potential for altcoins to gain market share, but is it realistic to think that Bitcoin could be dethroned?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, Bitcoin's been the king for so long, but the crypto landscape is changing so rapidly. Could we really see a shift in power?
It's a question that's sparking a lot of debate. Bitcoin's got a lot going for it, strong network effect, brand recognition, loyal following. But the crypto world is constantly evolving. If altcoins can keep innovating, attracting users, and gaining mainstream adoption, well, we could see a shift in market dynamics.
So Bitcoin might not disappear anytime soon, but it's not untouchable either.
Exactly. The future of the crypto market, it's likely to be more diverse, more decentralized, and that's what makes it so exciting. One of the biggest factors is innovation. Altcoins are constantly pushing the boundaries, what's possible with blockchain technology.
Yeah.
We're seeing exciting stuff in DeFi, NFTs, the metaverse, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. All these innovations, they're attracting developers, investors, users, fueling that growth in the altcoin space.
It feels like every day there's a new project, a new update, something groundbreaking happening in the altcoin world.
Right. It's both amazing and a little overwhelming. That's the beauty and the challenge of this space. It never stands still.
Definitely keeps you on your toes.
Absolutely. Another thing to consider is, well, the growing awareness of cryptocurrencies. It's not just about Bitcoin anymore.
Right.
More people are entering the market, they're exploring, checking out different options beyond just Bitcoin.
It's like Bitcoin opened the door, and now everyone's rushing in, eager to see what else is out there.
Exactly. And then there's the whole regulatory landscape to think about.
Oh, right, regulations.
While Bitcoin has a relatively established framework in many countries, altcoins, they often face more uncertainty. The rules aren't always clear.
So regulations could either help or hurt altcoins, depending on how things shake out.
Precisely. It's a complex situation, lots of moving parts. But one thing's for sure. The altcoin space, it's dynamic, it's innovative, and it's full of potential.
Definitely a lot to be excited about.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Now, before we go too far down the altcoin rabbit hole, let's bring it back to your specific interests.
Okay.
You mentioned Solana, Polkadot, and Avalanche in your notes. Let's see how those projects fit into this bigger picture, this evolving landscape.
Perfect, yeah. Because I'm trying to figure out what all this means for me, For someone who's looking to invest in these projects.
Right, right.
Let's start with Solana. It's facing that resistance at $230, but those potential ETF approvals, those could be huge, right?
Or absolutely, if Solana gets that ETF approval, it could really open the floodgates for institutional investors.
Yeah.
We could see a surge in demand, pushing the price way beyond that $230 resistance level. But it's not a guaranteed win.
Right.
ETFs, they're not a sure thing. Applications can be rejected or delayed.
So there's risk involved, but also potentially big reward.
Exactly, a calculated risk. Now, how about Polkadot? It's aiming for $7.15, but needs to overcome that resistance at $8.20. What are the key things to watch there?
Well, from what I've been reading, Polkadot's success really comes down to its interoperability. Can it actually connect different blockchains seamlessly and securely? If it can, it could become, well, a fundamental part of the future of DeFi.
You're absolutely right. Interoperability is a huge trend right now, and Polkadot is well positioned. If they can execute their plan, build a strong developer community, we could see it breaking through that $8.20 resistance and going even higher.
So execution is key.
It is absolutely key. And of course, competition is fierce. There are a lot of projects vying for that same spot.
Right, it's a race. Okay, now what about Avalanche? It's showing some positive signs around 37 setters, but that resistance at $40.60 is a big one.
Avalanche has been making a name for itself in the DeFi space, that's for sure. Fast transactions, low fees, that's a winning combination. And it's attracting developers who are building some really innovative applications on its platform. If this momentum continues, we could see Avalanche breaking through that $40.60 resistance, becoming a major player in DeFi.
It seems like each of these projects has its own strengths, its own challenges to overcome.
For sure. But ultimately, their success depends on a few key things. Their vision, their ability to execute that vision, and attracting a dedicated community of users and developers.
Makes sense. So it's not just about the tech, it's about the people behind it too.
Exactly. It's a combination of innovation, adoption, and execution. Now let's zoom out a bit and talk about the overall investment landscape. You mentioned some concerns about market sentiment and the potential for volatility in your notes. It's smart to be cautious, especially given the global economic outlook and, well, the holidays are just around the corner.
Yeah, definitely feeling a bit apprehensive, to be honest. Any advice on how to manage risk during these uncertain times?
Absolutely. One effective strategy is diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your investments across different asset classes, including some outside of crypto.
So even if I'm really bullish on crypto, don't go all in.
Exactly. Balance is key. Another strategy is dollar cost averaging. That means investing a fixed amount at regular intervals, no matter what the market's doing. This helps to average out your cost over time, reduces the impact of those price swings.
So instead of trying to time the market perfectly, which is impossible, I should just focus on being consistent.
You got it. Consistency and patience, those are your best friends in the crypto world. And don't be afraid to take profits along the way. It's okay to lock in some gains, reduce your risk exposure.
That's good advice. It's easy to get caught up in the hype and forget about the basics.
It happens to the best of us. Emotions can be your worst enemy when it comes to investing. That's why having a plan, doing your research, and understanding your risk tolerance are so important.
Okay, so let's recap. Define my goals, do my research, manage my risk, and stay informed. That sounds like a solid plan for navigating this crazy crypto world.
Sounds like a plan. And remember, this is just the beginning of your journey. The crypto space is constantly evolving, so keep learning, keep adapting, embrace the challenges, ask questions, and don't be afraid to challenge your assumptions. The more you learn, the more confident you'll become.
And that confidence can make all the difference, especially when the market is so volatile. It's easy to get swept up in the fear, the greed, but understanding the fundamentals, that can help you stay grounded.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to that question of Bitcoin's dominance.
Yeah.
We talked about the potential for altcoins to gain market share, but is it realistic to think that Bitcoin could actually be dethroned?
It's the question everyone's asking, right? I mean, Bitcoin's been the king for so long, but the crypto world is changing so rapidly, it's hard to predict what the future holds.
It is. It's a hot topic. Bitcoin has a lot going for it, a strong network effect, brand recognition, a loyal following. But the crypto landscape is evolving. If altcoins keep innovating, attracting users, and gaining mainstream acceptance, we could see a shift in market dynamics.
So Bitcoin might not disappear anytime soon, but its reign might not last forever.
Exactly. The future of the crypto market is likely to be much more diverse, much more decentralized, and that's what makes it so fascinating. Now, as we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit me.
Think about this. With everything we've discussed, all the trends, the challenges, the potential, what does it all mean for you and your own crypto journey?
That's the real question, right? It's not just about knowing all the technical stuff or the latest buzzwords. It's about understanding how it all connects, how it impacts you and your own decisions.
Exactly. It's about finding your place in this crazy, exciting crypto world.
Okay, but where do you even begin? I mean, we've got all this information, these notes, research. It can be a bit overwhelming.
I think the first step is to define your goals. Figure out what you're trying to achieve with your crypto investments. Are you looking for quick gains, long-term growth? Or maybe you're more interested in the technology itself, its potential to change things.
Right, because someone who's just starting out, maybe with a small amount to invest, their goals are going to be different from someone who's been in the game for a while, has a more diverse portfolio.
Exactly. Your goals, they shape your strategy, your risk tolerance, your whole approach to investing.
Hmm.
Once you know what you want, you can start building a plan that aligns with that vision.
And that plan should probably include a lot of research, right? I mean, we've just scratched the surface of some of these projects. There's a whole world of information out there.
Oh, absolutely. Don't just follow the hype. Dig deeper. Understand the technology, the team behind the project, the problems they're trying to solve. Look for strong communities, clear roadmaps, real-world applications. That's where the true potential lies.
It's like becoming a crypto detective, putting all the pieces together, finding those hidden gems.
I love that analogy. And remember, the crypto world is all about learning, adapting, staying curious. Ask questions, challenge your assumptions. The more you know, the more confident you'll become in your decisions.
And that confidence, that can make all the difference in a market like this so volatile. It's easy to get carried away by emotions, fear, greed, but understanding the fundamentals can help you stay grounded.
You said it. Emotions can be your biggest enemy when it comes to investing. That's why having a plan, doing your research, understanding your risk tolerance, it's all so important.
Okay, so to sum it up, define your goals, do your research, manage your risk, and stay informed. That sounds like a pretty solid roadmap for navigating the crypto world.
It's a good starting point for sure. And remember, this is a journey. It's not a destination. The crypto space is constantly evolving, so never stop learning, never stop exploring. Embrace those challenges, and most importantly, have fun along the way.
Well said. This deep dive has been incredible, wouldn't you agree? We've covered so much: Bitcoin's dip, the rise of altcoins, all the factors that are shaping this exciting market.
It's been a wild ride, and I applaud you for taking the time to really understand these concepts. Your passion for crypto is inspiring.
Oh, thank you. And I know our listeners are feeling that same passion, that same excitement. There's so much potential in the crypto world, but also a lot of uncertainty. It's an amazing time to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Wise words. Patience, persistence, and that thirst for knowledge, that's what will help you succeed in this ever-changing landscape.
Couldn't agree more.
So until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep riding that crypto wave.
The moon.
And that's a wrap on our crypto deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the world of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and those fascinating altcoins. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those crypto dreams alive.